Not so much got a job as trying to get a job. We've got a new LinkedIn survey, and it suggests that those that are job seeking are sending out more CVs to more advertised positions than ever before to up their chances of getting one. This is in the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Multiple roles, regardless of whether they're qualified or not, to increase the likelihood of a successful application. But HR people, as a result, are reportedly spending between 3 and 5 hours a day going through CVs. This morning, reporting from the front line, we have a people director from a name that will need no introduction, Havaianas, the flip-flop people. Alpargatas Group is the company. Sneha Jain runs a global network of HR professionals for Havaianas. She is disappointingly wearing proper shoes this morning. But she is with us in the studio. Sneha, it is a delight to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And the operation that you run here from Dubai looks after a massive global network, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So we look after APAC, Middle East Africa, and LATAM. Mine is Brazil, of course. We're a Brazilian company, so our headquarters is in Brazil. But other than that, all our emerging and distributor markets. And we look after everything from here.
And you've got HR people, not just in Dubai, but around the world that are reporting to you.
Absolutely.
So when you are hiring, how do you go about finding candidates?
Look, it's a whole new world now, Initially, it was more of, LinkedIn applications and talking to people. I have different methodologies to do that. And the three big ones are, of course, using AI linked to LinkedIn. Unfortunately, you're right. There are a lot of people who are looking for jobs now. And when we receive for one job an application count of 1,500, we owe a responsibility to be as transparent and at the same time spare the horror to our HR managers to search and scan through those 1,500 CVs. So we use a lot of AI in order to ensure that we select the right person. I definitely am a firm believer of references, that when it comes from the people I trust in the business, they already give me a certain level of comfort. And then, of course, we go through multiple rounds of interviews and panel discussions before we pick someone. But the key to the job hiring is the cultural alignment.
So tell me, are you seeing more applicants for each position?
Yes. And and it breaks my heart, sometimes, because when you see people applying for any kind of position, they're not looking and they're not reading what's the skill set, but they just end up applying, thinking that let the recruiter now do the job of scanning through and skimming through the CVs and get the right person. But yeah, absolutely. I think over the years of my experience in the Middle East market specifically, we've seen massive influx of talent and massive, application count for each position.
Can you quantify roughly that for me? I'm not asking for exact number. I'm asking for a 2x, 5x, 10x. What?
A minimum of 2x. A minimum of 2x. So even if you look at the studies, it shows that 90% increase in the application count since 2022. So it's a massive increase.
And what percentage of the CVs that come to you before the AI does its job would you estimate actually fit the criteria, would be a potential? For you guys?
Less than 5%.
Less than 5%.
And that's where AI does its magic, of trying to bring it or narrow it down as much as possible. And you will be also very surprised, Brandon, to hear this, that a lot of people apply, but they're not serious appliers. They would apply just for, they liked a job, they'll apply for it. So sometimes when we send out the assessments, which are the common assessments that we send, you will see a maximum drop there. People wouldn't do it. People wouldn't want to spend their time doing it. So there are a lot of false applications as well.
What's your theory as to why?
It's just for the fun of it, I would say, probably. And sometimes, what I'll tell you, today's working population comprises mostly of Gen Z. Patience level to grow and to learn in any organization has reduced drastically. One bad episode leads them to open their LinkedIn, start applying. And then there is a good day. so they wouldn't want to. So I would say the patience level as well.
What does all of this mean for you? Again, I know you're using AI to help, but are your team spending longer going through all of these applications and CVs? Give me an idea.
Absolutely. I mean, look, on an average, a recruiter recruits roughly about 10 jobs a month, and that's approximately about 8 hours of job a day. So it's a lot of hours, man hours that we put into hiring individuals and for different roles. So that's a lot of work that the recruiters do in skimming through the CVs.
How do you cope with that?
I think technology, one is technology. Second is to be absolutely clear in our job advert. We try to be very inclusive. We try to be as transparent as we can, and we try to provide as much as information as possible so that the relevant people apply for it. So there are different ways that we manage it through. But at the end of the day, whenever we receive a CV, we generally feel a responsibility to reply them back in a certain way, either through a mass email if they don't qualify to the next round. Feedback is important, is what I feel, and I really emphasize to my team to ensure that we provide a feedback to every CV we receive.
Which answers one of the questions, and people are messaging in about that this morning. We've got just under a minute left with you. How can a candidate stand out amongst the masses? With all of these changes that you are describing, what is the secret to getting through to the next round and the next round?
Absolutely. I would say read the JD carefully, understand the skill sets that are required in the job, and then use similar formatting in your CVs, because a lot of times AI is picking up those keywords and helping us drive through and skimming through the CVs. So I would say if you really think a job is your dream job and you're absolutely fit for it, amend your CV a little bit, make it more customized to the role that is available in the market. And that's where you narrow down your search. You don't apply for 15 jobs with the same CV, but you actually create a CV basis the role requirement, and then you apply, and that definitely increases your chances of getting through and at least reaching to the round where there's a physical interaction with the company recruiter.
Sneha Jain, People Director for the Havaianas people, Alpargatas Group, speaking to us this morning about the LinkedIn survey, about the sheer weight of CVs that HR managers are having to deal with at the moment. They're getting 1,500 per application. You're listening to The Business Breakfast.